In today's video lesson, we're going to solve problems that involve triangular prisms, and this will help you get ready for the test. In yesterday's lesson, we learned that to find the volume of a triangular prism, you need to find the area of the base times the height. So the area of the base of a triangular prism is length times width, the same as a rectangle, except the area is half of the length and the width. Then we multiply that number by the height. So let's do some problems together. Example 1. Determine the volume of this triangular prism that we have over here, and remember to include your units. Okay, so what's our formula for volume of a triangular prism? Yeah, so V equals the area of the base divided by 2 times the height. Okay, so the area of the base, well, that's going to be 6. We can call this our length, and width. So 6 times 6, and all of that divided by 2. And then our height. So our height is 8. All right, let's do the first part here. 6 times 6 is 36. Divided by 2 times 8. Okay, we're going to go over here. What's 36 divided by 2? 18. 18 times 8. And that's going to give us 144. Don't forget your units, centimeters cubed. Example 2 asks us to determine the volume of the triangular prism if it is 3/4 full. All right, what is 3/4 as a fraction? Yeah, 3/4 times that volume of the full prism, right? And we found that the answer to that volume last time. So if you check the dimensions, right, they were the same. So that was 3/4 times 144 centimeters cubed. So if we're timesing a fraction by a whole number, we can write that whole number as over 1. And then what do? Yeah, we multiply straight across. So 3 times 144, yeah, is 432. And 4 times 1 is 4. And if we divide 432 by 4, I just used a calculator, we get 108 units, centimeters cubed. Okay, so example 3 is determine the volume of this composite object. So composite object means that there's like 2 parts, 2 or more parts, and include the units. So if you look over here at this object, we have a box, right? And then we have like a triangular prism on top of that. So the plan to solve this is we have to find the volume of the box first, and then the volume of the triangular prism, and add both of those together. So the volume of the box. How do we find the volume of a rectangular prism? Yeah, we have to multiply the height. So this would be our height of the box, and the length, and the width. Okay, so we have 6 times 8 times 5. And that's going to give us 240 cubic centimeters. And now let's find the volume of the triangular prism. So first we have to kind of look at the base to figure out the area of the base, and then we can multiply by the height of that triangular prism. So the base, right, looks something like this. And according to the diagram, we know that this part here, right, this part is 4. Okay, so we got 4 in there. And then we also know that this part here is the same as this length here, which is 8. Okay, so let's make that into a rectangle because we know how to find the area of a rectangle. Then we can just divide that number by 2. So if I kind of fill in the dots here, what would the length be? 8. And the height is 4, because this 4, the 4 here in the middle is also going to be 4 here. Right? So this part and this part's the same. So length times width, 8 times 4, and all of that divided by 2. Right? And what's the height of our triangular prism? Yeah, well, if we stood this up, it would be this side here. That's the total height of that prism. So it's going to be 5. Okay, so times that by 5. So 8 times 4, yep, 32. 32 divided by 2, 16 times 5. Let's do that over here. So let's do 10 times 5. And then 6 times 5. So 10 times 5 is 50, plus 30 for 6 times 5. That's going to give us 80. 80 centimeters cubed. Okay, so now finally we just want to add those two numbers together. So 240 plus 80 is 320 cubic centimeters. So that's our answer. All right, last example, number 4. Determine the volume of the box if we remove the volume of that triangular prism, this one here. So to find the volume then, we have to find the volume of the big box first, and then take away the volume of the triangular prism. So volume of the box, we're going to need to find the length, the width, and the height. So this is our length, this is our width, and the height is 6. So 9 times 4 times 6. So we've got 9 times 4 is, 36 times 6. Okay, and that's going to give us 216 centimeters cubed. Okay, so that part's kind of easy. We've done volume of a box many times. Now the more difficult part is finding the volume of that triangular prism here. And you should always start by looking at finding the area of the base first. So I'm going to write that here. Area of the base divided by 2, and then because it's volume and we're measuring in 3 different directions or 3 dimensions, we also have to times it by the height. Okay, so let's look at the base first. Okay, so this is similar to a rectangular prism. Right, if I do this. All right, what would the length be? Well, the length of that base here is 4. Okay, so we got 4. And what's the height? Yeah, if we look over here, it says the height of this triangle is 2. So that means if this height is 2, then this part here would be 2. Okay, so the area of that rectangle here would be 4 times 2, right? And because it's half, we can just divide by 2. So we've got 4 times 2 divided by 2. And what's the height of that prism? Yeah, we have to look over here. It's the same height as the box. So this part equals this part. So the height of that triangle is also 6. So we're going to multiply it by 6. Okay, what's 4 times 2? Yep, 8. So 8 divided by 2, right? So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we've got 4 times 6, which is 24 centimeters cubed. And finally, what are we going to do to find the final answer? Let's look at our formula again that we started with. The volume of the box minus the triangular prism. So it's going to be 216 subtract the volume of the triangular prism, which was 24. And that is 192, yeah, don't forget your units, centimeters cubed. So that's our final answer. All right, so if you have any questions, write them down and we'll go over that tomorrow in class.